Hi everyone, I'm pretty sure that you all have heard about CFC before. But do you really know about the CFC? Do you know the current issue about the CFC? So in this video, I will explain what CFC is and its current issue. Chlorofluorocarbons, CFC, are non-toxic, non-flammable chemicals containing atoms of carbon, chlorine, and fluorine. They are used in the manufacture of aerosol spray, blowing agent for films, packing materials, as solvent, and as refrigerants. These chemicals with inherent chemical stability have long lifetime in the atmosphere in the range of 40 to 150 years. The evidence of the healing in the Antarctic ozone layer was discovered in 2019. For more than a decade, practically every nation signed on to the Montreal Protocol. This country pledged to protect the ozone layer by phasing out the production of CFC, which are also the potent greenhouse gases. However, scientists have identified the unusual significant emissions of CFC-11 and CFC-12, suggesting the prospect of manufacturers of CFC that may be violations of the Montreal Protocol. In 2013, high emissions of CFC-11 has been found in eastern China. The recent data shows that China has now tamped down on illegal productions of CFC. It was also found that most of the present emissions of CFC-11 and CFC-12 is likely coming from the older facilities or CFC banks that use CFC in the manufacturing. The researchers suggested a potential future scenario forecast that in 2020, if all banks were destroyed and recovered, there would be a lower CFC emissions in the atmosphere. This approach would have a same impact on greenhouse gas emissions, as avoiding equivalent of 9 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide emitting to the atmosphere.
The ozone layer is the Earth's natural sunscreen that protects humans, plants, and animals by filtering out harmful UVB radiation. In the 1970s, concern about the effect of man-made chemicals, especially CFC, on the ozone layer were raised by Paul Crutzen, Mario Molina, and Sherwood Rowland. Their pioneering work was recognized in 1995 by the award of Nobel Prize in Chemistry. In 1980, scientists discovered a hole in the ozone layer above Antarctica. The ozone hole has developed because people have polluted the atmosphere with chemicals containing chlorine and bromine. The primary chemicals involved are CFC, halogens, and carbon tetrachloride. CFC in particular have been used for a wide range of applications. Because these chemicals are so inert, they are able to stay in the atmosphere long enough to be carried upward to the stratosphere where they can damage the ozone layer. How do the CFC affect the ozone layer? Once they reach the stratosphere, unreactive CFC can be broken down by UV radiation to release reactive chlorine. For this to occur, clouds need to be present in the stratosphere to provide ice crystal surface on which this chemical reaction can take place. Once released from the CFC, chlorine then reacts with ozone to form chlorine monoxide and oxygen. Chlorine monoxide quickly breaks down to release the chlorine atom, which can repeat the process with another ozone molecule. In this way, one chlorine can gobble its way through around 100,000 molecules of ozone before it leaves the stratosphere. Though ozone-depleting substance like CFC may originate from anywhere, but it is in the South Polar stratosphere where the conditions become most favorable for ozone destruction. The essential component is the stratospheric clouds and the lack of atmospheric mixing between the South Polar latitudes and air from elsewhere during the austral winter and early spring. A short fun fact: did you know that scientists working in Antarctica wear high-factor sunscreen to avoid sunburn when walking outside, especially as sunlight is also reflected from the snow surface? You can get burned in as little as 5 minutes without it. So, does this mean that the ozone hole linked to global warming? A side effect of global warming is that the temperature of the ozone layer is falling slightly. This means that more of the stratospheric clouds can form over Antarctica. and hence delay the recovery of the ozone hole. Another link is that the ozone depleting chemicals such as CFC are greenhouse gases. They are known to warm the atmosphere thousands of times more efficiently than carbon dioxide. This means that although it might exist in much smaller atmospheric concentration than other greenhouse gases, their impact can be just as significant.
Since scientists link CFC to the depletion of the ozone layer, they have been largely phased out, but all refrigerators and other devices that use CFCs might still be in service. Through inhalation, digestion, or other physical contact, as well as from exposure to harmful level of UV rays, CFC can have a negative impact on human health. Inhalation of CFCs affects the central nervous system, according to the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Sciences. The result is intoxication similar to that produced by alcohol, including lightheadedness, headaches, tremors, and convulsions. Inhalation of CFCs can also disturb the heart rhythm, which can lead to death. Exposure to large amount of CFCs could potentially cause asphyxiation, according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Humans can come in contact with CFC through what? Through injection or skin contact. After dermal interaction with CFC, some people might have skin irritation or dermatitis, according to the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Science. Exposure to pressurized CFC, such as that from refrigerant leak, can cause frostbite on the skin. Direct skin exposure to CFC has not been linked to cancer, according to the Scottish Environment Protection Agency. Ingestion of CFC can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and other upset to the digestive tract. CFC can generally impair the human immune system, and scientists have linked direct exposure to problems with the central nervous system. These problems might include difficulty breathing or injury to the heart, kidneys, and liver. Some research also reports that overexposure to the sun suppresses overall immune function or the skin's natural defenses. CFC contribute to the loss of the protective ozone layer, which blocks ultraviolet rays from the sun. This exposes more people to UV radiation, which can cause skin cancer. According to the University of Georgia, 1 in 5 Americans develop skin cancer in his or her lifetime. Even if they don't develop skin cancer, some individuals experience wrinkles, thick, or leathery skin from too much sun exposure. Additionally, increased contact with UV rays can cause cataracts, macular degeneration, and other eye damage.
Do you realize what these ozone-depleting substances, ODS, such as CFCs, done to the Earth? Are you aware of it? What has been done so far to control and handle these ODS? On the 15th of October 2016, the parties to the Montreal Protocol reached an agreement at their 28th meeting of the parties in Kigali, Rwanda, to phase down HFCs. Countries agreed to add HFCs to the list of controlled substances and approve a timeline for their gradual reduction by 80 to 85% by the late 2040s. The first reduction by developed countries are expected in 2019. Developing countries will follow with a freeze of HFCs consumption levels in 2024 and 2028 for some nations. Under the Kigali Amendment, Actions to limit the use of HFCs under the Montreal Protocol are expected to prevent the emissions of up to 105 million tons of carbon dioxide, equivalent of greenhouse gases, helping to avoid up to 0.5 degrees Celsius of global temperature rise by 2100. According to the Department of Environment Malaysia, Malaysia had successfully phased out CFC, Helen, and CTC in January 2010. Malaysia is now committed to phasing out HCFC by 2030. Recently, Malaysia has been working on the prohibition of the manufacture, assembly, and import of all products and equipment using HCFC except for essential use, and the prohibition of HCFC's 141B as blowing agents. Malaysia plans to have a total ban on the import and use of HCFCs in 2040. Moreover, Malaysia had also ratified the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocols on the 21st of October 2020 for the phase down of HFCs. Being normal citizens, what actually can we do to reduce CFC pollution and protect our ozone layer? Firstly, buy air conditioning and refrigeration equipment that does not use HCFCs as refrigerants. Instead, increase the use of ammonia and other alternative substances with a lower or zero global warming potential. Secondly, buy aerosol products that do not use HCFCs or CFCs as propellants. Thirdly, conduct regular inspection and maintenance of air conditioning and refrigeration appliances to prevent and minimize refrigerant leakage. Lastly, minimize the use of cars. Try to use public transportation or bicycle to get to a destination. This will eventually reduce pollution and help to protect the ozone layer.
Awareness of the damaging effects of CFCs on the ozone layer, on the human health, and many more would definitely encourage all to change to an ozone-friendly, isn't it? This is why awareness is important. One of the studies shows that asthmatic patients are willing to change to ozone-friendly by using chlorofluorocarbon-free Pezolite MDIs after considering the role of chlorofluorocarbons in the destruction of ozone layer. Moreover, the higher the level of awareness of damaging effect of CFCs among professionals, students, and teachers was probably due to the fact that these group of people were more likely to read widely and were therefore more knowledgeable about such issues. On the other hand, housewives might not have access to information about the environment or were less inclined to find out more about such matters, resulting in ignorance in this regard. One of the studies shows that workers were apparently unaware that CFC 113 might generate vapor concentration sufficient to cause death by cardiac arrhythmia or asphyxiation. This kind of ignorance will lead to frequent use of CFCs containing substances which will worsen the damaging effect of CFCs, such as depletion of ozone layer, risk of human health, and Arctic sea ice loss. These will eventually increase many more bad sequences, such as ozone layer depletion reduces ozone's ultraviolet radiation absorbing capacity, increasing health risks. In conclusion, to my fellow friends and doctors, prevention is better than cure. Let us follow the prevention measures in all the sphere of life and reduce the usage of CFCs containing substances. These will keep us happy in all needs. Thank you.